Hello friends, happy Thursday. My name's Janna. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you stopped by, whether you're catching the live or the replay. If you're catching the live and you have the ability, please come on to the chat and say hello. And I'm doing a fun fold today. Yahoo! Okay, so this is the stamp star of my fun fold today. If you know me at all, you know that I love crows. So when I saw this stamp set, it wasn't even a decision. I mean, it was like, okay, gotta have it. So I'll be using that, and let's just get started. So the card I am making today is a double slider card. It's also a pocket card, so I just called it a double slider pocket card. If you want to grab a pencil and a piece of paper, I'm going to tell you the dimensions of the cardstock and stuff as I go along. I'll also try to go back and put it in the description box. So I've got our standard 4 1/4 but by 5 1/2 size card, except it is long ways. So 11 by 4 1/4, and you're going to score it at 5 1/2 to get the card. What's going to be different about this one is that the fold is going to go at the bottom. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So I'm going to do a couple of things to this base that's going to end up as a pocket in the end first. And I need to cut a couple of slots in this. So there's different ways you can go about doing it. What I did was I found this die in my stash, which just cuts out a greeting. I'm going to show you where I got it from. So I had purchased this stamp and die set from scrapbook.com. It is called So Proud of You. It is just one of the cutest stamp sets. I mean, every single image in it is adorable. Look at this little rabbit in his little suit jacket there, and her in her cute dress. But I mean, everything is so adorable. There's a sweet little butterfly and a very cute basket of vegetables. But look at this letter with the bow on it. You could use that in so many different things. And a cute, adorable, tiny carrot. That would even be cute to put on the back of your card. You know, if you're doing an Easter card or a card that includes vegetables, and then put that on the back of your card with your name. An individual little slice of cake, which is so sweet, and a stack of books. It's just a great set. And then the dies, there's a die for every single thing in this set, every single thing. So the die that I'm using is missing right there because I have it right here. It's the one that happens to cut out. Congratulations there. I'm pretty sure it's basically the same size as the one below it, almost. Hardly any difference. But so you can use a die, look through your stash, see what you have. If you have something similar, I'm going to give you the measurements of this. It is, the cutting part of it is 2 3/4 inches long. And then it is just about a 1/2 inch in width. Okay, so 2 3/4 by a 1/2 inch. You can cut your little slots out just on your paper trimmer. You could draw them out and cut them out with scissors. So don't get freaked out if you don't have a die that you think might work, because you can just use scissors to make 2 slots. They're not going to show, so nothing needs to be perfect about it. Happy Thursday, Danita. Okay, so let's just get busy and make these. You're going to have to open up your card, and don't forget you want your fold at the bottom. Now you can get real picky and measure if you want to, where you put the slots. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Uh, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna kind of center it top to bottom, and then I'm putting it here. I'm gonna hold it down with a piece of tape, and then when I go to do the second one, I will just try my best to line it up, but I'm not going to get picky in measuring things out and trying to make it exactly perfect, and you'll see why as we go. Okay, so I'm gonna run this through my machine. I'll be right back. Okay, so here is one, and I'm going to go ahead and keep my little piece that I cut out. You can use a scrap piece of paper for what I'm going to use this for, or you know, if you have a die and you die cut it, you can use one of the pieces that you die cut out. So I'm just going to line this up about the same as I did on the other side, best as I can. It's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't really matter. You want it a little bit close, but yeah, mainly the top and bottom, you want those to be a little bit better aligned there as best as you can. Okay, so let me do this one, and I will return. Okay, so that's what we end up with, something that looks kind of like a plug-in. And I'll just save this piece too, and that way I'll have two pieces. All right, so what else do I need to do to the card base? If you wanted patterned paper on this, probably I would suggest adhering, you know, make it 1/4 of an inch smaller, whatever, for that layer if you wanted to, or completely cover the front with your patterned paper. It depends on what design you're going to end up with. I'm just going to do some stamping. So let me just bring this scrap paper in, and I'm going to use from this old retired set of Stampin' Up. I'm going to use this cobweb. Now, you do not have to do Halloween. This one is going to be a Halloween card, but you don't have to do Halloween. You can do yours whatever you want to do it. And let me grab, I'm going to use some white pigment ink because I'm stamping on the black. And so I just am using this white. It's a Stampin' Up ink that I've had forever. They called it craft ink back then, but it's a pigment ink. If you don't know, pigment ink is it's a thicker ink. It stays wet longer, so you can heat emboss with it if you'd like to. But I'm just going to stamp around the edges here, twisting and turning so I don't get the same image exactly every time. And this is just going to put a little design that will come out from behind my main image that will be on the front with that crow. So kind of fun. Let me fold this up so I can get across the bottom here. Let's see, turn this one like that. We'll get one more in the middle here. Okay, so that part is done. After making the first one of these, then you kind of figure out what steps, you know, what order you want to do each step in. I do like to get all the pigment ink out of my stamps when they're inky. I've bought stamps like at the Goodwill or different thrift stores, and some of them are so caked with pigment ink, and it's really hard to, I mean, if you don't clean your stamps, it's really hard to get it out when it's been in there for a long time. So I like to do my best to get it fairly clean. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is bring in my Stampin' Scrub and just do that, and it can get in all those little crevices. Alrighty. I'll be using that stamp again. Okay, so I can put this away. So next I'm going to cut a thumb notch, and I just grabbed, this is a 1.5 inch circle punch, and I'm going to try, remember our fold is going to be at the bottom, but the open part is up here, going to be at the top, and that's where I want to cut my thumb notch. And I'm just going to try to put it in the middle. Again, I'm not measuring anything. That looks semi-centered to me. Okay, let me turn this over because I think it's going to go flying if I don't. Maybe I better not do that because I probably let it slide and then it's going to come out all wonky. So let me just not do that, okay? Here we go. Whee! All right. So there is my thumb notch, and it looks fairly centered. Yahoo! All right. So I think I am done with this piece for right now. So let's get on with the next pieces. So if you're writing down the measurements, this is what I'm going to call the back layer, and you're going to need 2 of these. One's going to be for the front of the card, and one is going to be one of the slider pieces for the inside. And these are measured at 3 1/4 by 4.5, and you'll need 2 of that size, okay? So what am I going to do with these? Not a whole lot, other than I'm going to take my little sponge here and ink around the edges. Pretty quick and simple. And depending on, you know, what you are turning your card into, you might not want your edges inked, or you might not like the look of that. So it just depends on what you want to do. In this instance, I think it just makes this particular card have a little bit more of a spooky feel. Okay, so both of those pieces are done. And then I've got two of the pieces that are going to be on the top. These measure 3, they're just a 1/4 inch smaller, 3 by 4 1/4. So you'll need 2 pieces that are that size. And one of these I need to put in here. I'm going to put it in here and line it up, center it, line it up where it's going to go. Close this, take a pencil, and I'm just going to draw a little line right here, like so, because I don't want to stamp across where the opening is. It doesn't matter that much, but I'd just rather not have anything peeking out right there. And I'm going to grab my spider web back out. And I'm using black this time. And I'm just going to stay away from that little area there. And I'm just going to stamp a few cobwebs around again. I think I will go ahead and make it real cobwebby. And I'm just going to leave it at that right there for now. Clean this off. Okie dokie. And also in this set that's called Wonderfully Wicked, there's a ugly spider. And I'm going to stamp it. And I'm going to stamp it with Versamark. And I'm going to heat emboss. So I'm going to take my little powder tool, because I don't want my embossing powder sticking in places I don't want it. And I'm just going to powder over this whole thing. So there we go with that. And then I'm going to put my spider on. Now I think I'm going to have my spider creeping down from over here. So let me get this inked up pretty good here. This is an ugly spider, I have to say. Okay, so I'm avoiding that thumb area. I'm just going to have him coming down from the top there. Can you see him? No, you can't. All right. So I've got black embossing powder. Creepy. And I'm just brushing off where I can see that there are some little random pieces. Let me set that aside. Bring in my heat tool. Okay, so there's our spider. All right, so now I can go back and erase my little pencil mark. I did it so light it was really kind of hard to see it to begin with. All right, now it is gone. So there you have it. That piece is done. So now I've got my other little slider here. Going to give you the measurements for this. This one is 2 1/4 wide by 3 1/2 long. And my top piece for it is 2 by 3 1/4. Okay, so 1/4 of an inch smaller. And I'm going to just do the same thing with this back piece. I'm just going to go around the edges. And that's all I need to do to that. So we've got that, and we've got this, and we've got that. And now I'm going to, let me just put this embossing powder up before I have some sort of a accident with it. Can you see the sparkle in my embossing powder? That's because over the time, you know, either some glittered embossing powder has gotten into it or whatever, but it doesn't bug me at all. It really doesn't. I don't mind a little sparkle here and there. I've got other black embossing powder that if I really wanted to make sure that no sparkle was in it, I could just get that out and use it. But having a little sparkle here and there does not bother me. Okay, so this one, I'm going to use this cute corner piece, and I'm going to use the Happy and the Halloween, which are separate. I kind of like that, you know, that they do that. Sometimes you don't want them connected. I really like this corner piece too. Let me wipe that off real quick. And I'm done with the ugly spider, so I can put it away. And get my corner out. Might help if I put it on the block correctly. And I'm just going to stamp it in my tuxedo black here. Yeah, the scary spider comes out really good when he's heat embossed. Well, he comes out good either way, but when you just stamp him with black on top of the black spider webs, he doesn't show up. I mean, he shows up, but not distinctively at all. So heat embossing it is the way to go. All right, so I'm just gonna stamp this right up in the corner. Hopefully I can get over at the top of it enough to see what I'm doing. And it's so cute. I just love that little corner stamp. Okay, so there's that. And then I want the happy. Happy, happy, happy. And I'm going to stamp it right there. Happy. And now I need Halloween. want to squeeze it up as close as I can without overlapping anything. There we go. All right, so let me clean that a little better. All right, so where was this? Here, over here. And then I just need to ink around the edge of this. So in the end, this card is going to look like it was difficult when indeed it was not difficult. Okay, so there's that, and I'm done with that. So while I'm inking, I may as well just continue doing that. I've already done that piece, but I want this piece. Do I want to do it now? I better wait, because I'm going to do heat embossing on this piece, and the less ink that I put on it, the better. So I'm going to stamp the Nevermore down here at the bottom of that, but I'm going to bring my Misty in to do that because I want to make sure that I get it straight across the bottom. So this will help me do that a little bit easier. And I have to tell you, I absolutely love the font on this stamp. Love, love, love it. It's so pretty. Okay, so we're going to just ink this up with black. And I'll do it a couple of times. Isn't that pretty? I just love that font. So pretty. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's see here. I think actually, do I want to leave it on there? I think I'm just going to leave it on there because I need to stamp the crow. So get him on here where I want him. But I'm going to heat emboss him with the black powder again. So I am going to use my Versamark. And I'm going to ink it up and stamp it twice because I just want to make sure that I get a good stamping of it. I had lunch with the car club ladies today, and the place we went to the golf course, which is just right down the road from where I live. And I have been for years now wanting to try pozole. Hope I'm saying that correctly, which is like a Mexican soup that typically has hominy in it, and that was their soup today. So I finally got to try some, and I've also been wanting to try making it myself, and it was really, really delicious, I have to say. It was a verde one. It had pieces of avocado in it and stuff. It was just so good. And chicken. I think a lot of times it's made with pork. And you can make it usually either verde, which is the green sauce, or I don't know what they call the one that has like the red sauce. If I were going to make it at home, make a pot of it, I would do the red sauce. But what I had today was really delicious too. Okay, so there we go. You can just barely see him on there. Oh, I forgot to put the powder on. Well, hopefully I won't have too much that I have to wipe away. And I have my handy dandy brush to do that with. I bought this at a stamp convention years ago. I also have a small little like paintbrush that came out of a cheap, like a kid's paintbrush set that I use for smaller areas for doing this. Making sure I didn't accidentally wipe it off of his toes there. Okay, let's see. I think it looks like there is powder on everything. To flip it over and just heat the back up a little bit because the heat tends to curl your paper a little bit. So there he is. Isn't he gorgeous? Okay. So now that piece is ready. So I think we are ready to get this card assembled. Let me just take care of this real quick. Better to take care of it than have embossing powder all over my stamp room, I say. That would not be good. Embossing powder and glitter, stuff that you don't want to spill. All right, are you ready? I am. Okay. So, first things first. I need to clean the plates of my cutting machine off because I keep getting little paper slivers everywhere. All right, so I'm going to turn it kind of upside down, really. for right this minute. And I'm going to grab one of the little pieces that were cut from the slot and some small dimensionals. Now, if you don't happen to have this brand, which these are Stampin' Up, you can always, whatever you have, you can cut them smaller. Actually, let me just go ahead and turn it back the way it needs to go. So I'm going to put it in here. All right. I'm going to put it in here where I want it, and maybe I will just use this piece of removable tape to kind of hold it where I want it. And it's not going to stay in the middle. I'm just putting it there so I can see it. And then I'm going to stick a dimensional on each here on it, in each one of the slot areas, okay? So that's going to go there like that. And I don't mean to be being slow. I'm just trying to remember exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side for a minute because I need to attach these to each other. Put my layers together, in other words. Get them acquainted with each other. All right. There's a gal that I like to watch her cooking shows, Mimi. She's an older lady. And when she's mixing up the ingredients, she's always telling you to put them in the bowl and get them mixed up until they're really well acquainted with each other. I always think it's funny. Okay, so there's that. And then this piece, yes, I can attach it to. And you know what? I'm going to take a Kleenex and wipe it off because I had put that powder all over it. So there is that. And this one's just going to go right on here. Okie dokie. Okay, so now all right, so the first thing I'm going to do, is it the first thing I want to do? Tell me. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take my bigger one and I'm going to slide my little thing all the way to the bottom here. And I'm going to put some glue on it. I'm not going to go all the way to the edges of it. Let me just pick it up and hold it like this. It'll be easier to keep it in place. And I'm just going to kind of put the glue, come on glue. Come on glue, you can do it. There we go. I had the lid off, so okay. We're gonna get it. I'm just gonna put it down the kind of middle of that little bar area there. and making sure that I've got my webs and my spider at the top and that I've got this all the way to the bottom of the slot. I'm going to line this up. Maybe I better go back out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to line this up in the middle. I know it looks like it's the bottom, but it's actually the top of the card where I want it, because I don't want this bebopping out the top, okay? I don't want you to see it right out of the top, so line it up where I want it and just kind of let it fall down onto where that glue was. Okay, now if you want an extra place to be signing your card, you can put a white layer on the back of this. You can also put another white layer on the back of this if you want more area to write on for your card, because remember, it's a pocket card. So if you want a bigger area to write on, you can attach a piece back there, but you can also attach a piece here. Okay, so now then, I am going to go ahead, since I'm holding this down where I want it. You can use tear and tape, like a double-sided tape if you want. I'm just going to use my glue press here, and I'm going to put glue along the sides here. You don't want to get glue on the piece in the middle, because then your card won't work. So I'm just putting glue down the sides. Okay, so I got my little piece crookedy. Let me just undo that and fix it. I thought I was doing so good. That is not going to show, so don't freak out. But I need to fix this. I didn't realize I had messed it up. So let me get glue on the back of it here. It's just paper, everything can be fixed. Okay. It's a good thing this isn't going to show. Yeah, I thought I was doing such a good job. Nope, that's not going to work. All right, people. It's a learning experience, right? Okay, so I want that to be at the bottom of the slot. So it needs to go like that. And why am I having trouble with this? I did not have trouble with it when I made my first one. I didn't. So I don't know what I'm doing differently than I did the first time. But at least you can see what I'm doing so that you don't do the same. Okay. Probably if I just held it on with a piece of tape, that'd be the best way to go. Okay, there's where it needs to be. Do I have enough glue to make it kind of stay in place? So I'm just going to pick this up and add a little bit more glue because we don't want that coming undone or our card won't work. And then I'm going to have to put glue on the sides again. Okay, so let me do something different here since I'm having trouble. I'm going to pull that all the way up to the top. I'm going to take the sticky off my little things. I think this is why I'm having trouble, because I did this part yesterday the right way. Okay, so to add your small card, you want to pull the slot things all the way to the top for the small card and all the way to the bottom for the big card. And I think I did the small one first yesterday, and that's why I'm having trouble today. So bear with. Bear with. Okay. So now I need to add this, and I am going to put it, I'm just matching it up with the bottom of the other card. I can see the bottom of the other card. And so it's just going to stick there to those tabs. And now I think that will hold that in place so that I can add my glue. We're going to slide it back down here. Yeah, so you want to do the small one first. So don't do as I do, do as I say, right? Okay, let me add my glue again. It's all going to come out in the end. Okay, so just remember to line things up and attach the small card first. Okay, there we go. And then since I'm doing wet glue, I always like to really make sure that everything is glued down good. So I like to just kind of run my fingers down that seam. In fact, let me take my bone folder and make my crease sharper there at the bottom. Okay, so we're sliding right. And then let me get my crow attached to his backing piece. Sorry for the flub up there, so I hope I didn't totally confuse you. And I will plan on doing this card again and hopefully doing it. We'll do a different design, not Halloween, one of these days here, and do it without making a mistake in putting it together. But if you have any questions, just holler at me and hopefully I can answer. Okay, so there we have that. But now we've got this piece here, so how are we going to attach it? Well, we are just going to put, you can use the small ones of your dimensionals, but I'm going to use the bigger ones, and I'm just going to make sure I have it in the very corner. You don't want it to get in the way of your sliding piece. a little crookedy, which is bugging me. Can I straighten it out? I guess it's all right. Okay, so then you're just going to center this. And then I've got some little stars here. These were the Shimmer Star foam stickers. I don't know if Stampin' Up! Still has these or not. They may have been from last year at Halloween time. There's 3 different sizes of each color. And then I will put a little one right up here like so. So there is that, and then you pull it up and there is our double slider. Isn't that fun? Okay, so my plan is I'm just going to sign my card in this area. But that's what I was saying. If you want, well, you could, if you're using a light color like I am, you can have that space to write on. But if you want if you used a dark color and you want a light color, you'll just want to make sure you attach that to the back of this card before you glue your card shut. But you can also put another piece on the back of here for more writing space. So that's how it works. So fun. Okay, so here's the one I did yesterday. My spider's going up instead of coming down. And I certainly didn't have as much trouble putting it together as I did trying to show you. But yeah, the trick is to attach the small one first to the bar with the little dots and then go back, slide it all the way down to the bottom and glue on your big piece. I like the spider coming down from the top of the card better than going up, I think. So now I've got 2 Halloween cards to send off to our older grandkids, I think, or maybe an adult. These aren't so much the for little kid ones, I don't think, but oh, I love it. I love that crow. It's a fun card. You just gotta finagle it a little bit. Okay, story time. I don't need that bar. So we're still in the You're the Best book. I don't think I read these pages. I'm never sure. So I just read them. With confidence, you can reach truly amazing heights. Without confidence, even the simplest accomplishments are beyond your grasp. Find out what you like doing best and get someone to pay you for doing it. I know I didn't read that. This is, yeah, so that just reminds me of the craft fair. Find out what you like doing best and get someone to pay you for doing it. That's the key. A strong positive self-image is the best possible preparation for success. There is no one better to be than yourself. Positive little things here. There is only one success: to be able to spend your life in your own way. I must admit that I personally measure success in terms of the contributions an individual makes to her or his fellow human beings. I'll read this one and then we'll end there. They can do all because they think they can. And then I'm going to put my little bookmark here and we will read some more next week. Okay, thanks for bearing with me in getting this double slider pocket card together. I just love that crow. Again, this is the Raven's Tail stamp set from Stampin' Up. There is no die set that goes with it. If you don't have a demonstrator and you'd like to order this, you can find me at the Stampin' Up website by looking up my name as a demonstrator, Janna Williams, Janna Williams, and that will pop up there for as long as I can stay active, meet the minimums. I will continue to have that available to you, but when I no longer meet the minimums, I won't be doing that. So there you have it. All right, you guys, happy crafting. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. I'm not always this discombobulated, not always. Anyway, I hope you have a great weekend ahead, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.